Hi, K-pop lovers. Welcome back to the channel. BABYMONSTER just turned down millions of dollars, and nobody saw it coming. While every other fifth-generation girl group is racing to stack luxury ambassador titles like trophies, YG Entertainment's biggest rookie act did something almost unheard of in the K-pop industry. They said no, not to one offer, to multiple offers, from global luxury houses, worth tens of billions of Korean won. If you've ever wondered what happens when a group with this much momentum chooses discipline over cash, stick around, because this story says more about BABYMONSTER's future than any single brand deal ever could. Let's set the scene. By May 2026, BABYMONSTER wasn't just another rookie group anymore. Their third mini-album, CHOM, dropped on May 4th and immediately topped the iTunes chart in 15 regions. That's the kind of chart performance that gets luxury brand executives picking up the phone. And they did. According to multiple fashion industry insiders cited by Korean outlet OSCN, global luxury brands had been aggressively reaching out to BABYMONSTER for ambassador partnerships in the weeks following that release. This is exactly the moment luxury houses love to pounce on, a group at the peak of viral momentum, right before a world tour, with a member roster that photographs like it was built for a runway. Chiquita's stage presence alone has become a talking point across fan edits and reaction videos, the kind of magnetic, camera-devouring energy that luxury brands typically pay enormous sums to attach to their name. So the offers came in, and BABYMONSTER's agency did something almost nobody expected. They declined all of them. Not postponed, not under negotiation. Declined. Sources told OSCN that the group has opted to politely decline every luxury proposal for now, even as the offers kept piling up. And this wasn't some quiet, unexplained rejection either. The decision traces directly back to one person, YG Entertainment's founder and chief producer, Ahyeon Suk. According to a representative from the agency, the reasoning was refreshingly simple. Singers should shine brightest on stage. The label wants BABYMONSTER's members focused entirely on musical perfection and the upcoming world tour, not on juggling international fashion show appearances, jet-lagged brand photo shoots, and the kind of scheduling chaos that luxury ambassadorships often create behind the scenes. Now, if you know anything about how the K-pop industry actually works, you understand exactly why this is such a big deal. Luxury ambassador deals aren't just extra income for idols. They're considered an essential benchmark of success. They're often treated as proof that a group has made it globally, a signal to the industry and to fans that a group has crossed over from K-pop popularity into legitimate international prestige. For fifth-generation groups especially, landing a major luxury house has become almost a rite of passage, the kind of milestone that gets celebrated as hard as a music show win. So when a group with BABYMONSTER's current trajectory turns that entire tier down on purpose, it's not a small decision. It's a statement. Just look at how the rest of the industry treats this milestone. Every single member of Blackpink holds an individual luxury house of their own. Jennie with Chanel, Jisoo with Dior, Lisa with Celine, and Rose with Yves Saint Laurent, a lineup so complete that Jennie has been nicknamed the human embodiment of Chanel itself. NewJeans followed a nearly identical script almost immediately after debut, with each member landing a flagship house within their first couple of years, spanning Chanel, Gucci, Celine, Dior, and Louis Vuitton across 5 members. Even SM's rookie boy group Rise became a Louis Vuitton house ambassador just 98 days after debuting, a number that's practically legendary in the industry now as the benchmark for how fast a luxury deal can land. Against that backdrop, BABYMONSTER choosing to wait isn't just unusual, it's swimming directly against the current of how every comparable group before them has handled this exact moment. Industry observers have actually started raising concerns about the opposite problem, the idea that stacking luxury titles this aggressively creates a kind of hierarchy within the industry, where an idol's perceived value gets measured by which fashion house logo sits next to their name rather than by their actual artistry. That's a pressure BABYMONSTER, at least for now, has completely opted out of. And it's worth being clear about what this rejection actually covers, because BABYMONSTER hasn't gone dark on endorsements altogether. Far from it. The group remains a global partner for Adidas, a relationship that started back in April 2024 with Adidas Originals and expanded to a full global ambassador role by September of that year. That partnership has continued to grow, aligning naturally with BABYMONSTER's high-energy, performance-driven image rather than a couture, red carpet one. They're also ambassadors for Korean cosmetics brand Vanilla Co., a role they've held since February 2025, along with regional partnerships tied to Pepsi across Asia-Pacific and Korean skincare line CNP Laboratory. And just this past July, BABYMONSTER was announced as the new global brand ambassador for Sunsilk, a campaign built around the theme, "Let your hair sway like silk," that's rolling out internationally after first launching in Southeast Asia. So this isn't a group avoiding brand deals in general. It's a group specifically closing the door on one tier, high fashion luxury. Everything else stays open.
Why draw that particular line?
Because the two categories function completely differently behind the scenes. A partnership like Adidas or Sunsilk typically involves scheduled campaign shoots and social content that can be built around a group's existing tour and comeback calendar. Luxury fashion ambassadorships operate on an entirely different rhythm. They come with unpredictable international obligations, Fashion Week appearances in Paris or Milan, last-minute flights for runway shows, red carpet events tied to a brand's own release calendar, not the group's. For a rookie act that's about to enter one of the most demanding stretches of its career, that kind of unpredictability is exactly what YG appears to be trying to avoid. And that stretch is genuinely massive. Right after the CHOM album rollout, YG confirmed the details of the 2026 to 2027 BABYMONSTER World Tour, and the scale is not small. The Asia and Oceania leg alone has expanded to 27 shows across 18 cities, hitting major markets including Manila, Bangkok, Jakarta, Singapore, Hong Kong, Macau, Auckland, Melbourne, and Sydney. One date in particular has drawn a lot of attention, a stop at Kyocera Dome in Osaka, which would make BABYMONSTER one of the fastest rookie girl groups in K-pop history to headline a major Japanese dome venue. That's an enormous physical and vocal demand to place on a group, especially one still building stamina through a global touring schedule for the first time. Layer International Fashion Week travel on top of that, and the math stops making sense. Something would inevitably suffer, whether that's vocal health, stage quality, or the members' actual well-being. Young Hyun Suk's camp appears to have made the calculation that none of those trade-offs were worth it, no matter how many zeros were attached to the offer. There's also a quieter, more protective layer to this decision that's been picked up in some of the Korean coverage. Several of BABYMONSTER's members are still relatively young, and international brand obligations, especially in the fashion space, often come with intense public scrutiny attached. Runway appearances and front-row placements get dissected by fashion critics and casual observers alike, in ways that can be brutal for artists who are still early in their careers. Keeping that pressure off the table, at least for now, fits into a broader pattern of YG appearing to protect the group's development rather than rushing them into every spotlight available. Fan reaction to the news has been surprisingly split. A good number of MONSTIEZ have voiced relief in comment sections, arguing that the group has nothing left to prove and that protecting the members' schedules matters more than another logo on a press release. Others have pushed back, pointing out that luxury placement often functions as free global marketing, the kind of visibility that's hard to replicate through touring alone, and worrying that BABYMONSTER might be ceding ground to rival groups while they wait. Both sides of that debate have some truth to them, and it's part of what makes this decision genuinely interesting rather than a straightforward win or loss. So, where does that leave the luxury bidding war teased at the start of this video? It's real, it's happening, and BABYMONSTER is choosing to sit it out. That's arguably the more interesting story. Almost every group in this generational wave has leaned into the luxury tier as fast as offers arrive, treating it as an unquestioned next step. BABYMONSTER, backed by one of the most experienced hitmakers in the industry, looked at that same opportunity and said not yet. Music first, tour first. Everything else can wait. Of course, the industry doesn't stand still, and neither does BABYMONSTER's trajectory. A #1 album across 19 regions, a rapidly expanding world tour, and a fanbase that keeps setting subscriber and streaming milestones is not a combination that luxury houses give up on easily. If anything, This rejection might make the eventual acceptance even bigger news, whenever that day comes. For now, though, the message from YG is clear. Baby Monster's next chapter is being written on stage, not on a runway. What do you think, MONSTIEZ? Is turning down luxury deals the smartest move YG has made for this group, or is it a missed opportunity they'll regret later? Drop your take in the comments, and if you want to stay ahead of every Baby Monster update before anyone else does, make sure you're subscribed, because this story is far from over. Ahyeon.